Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up and share. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Welcome aboard. We got a rockin' chat already. We got people hanging out before the show even started. How about that? So tonight is Wednesday, November 6th, 2019. This is episode 389 of The Daily Dope. So, welcome aboard. Very, very casual show if this is your first time tuning in. It is just some discussion about tabletop gaming. Usually, sometimes there's a little pop culture stuff, or maybe I'll talk a little bit about some video game specials going on, like I will later on tonight. But all in all, it's not rocket surgery or anything like that. It is just kind of kicking back. Of course, it is live on YouTube. So that means chat is available as well. So if you are watching live, by all means, feel free to chime in. I will point out, chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say hello, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, please chime in. I see we've got William McGinnis, John Vogel, and the Madman are in chat already. Big shout out to the Madman. Thank you very much for the donation you made earlier today for Extra Life for Kids for our big gaming marathon we did on Saturday. We played 12 hours of games. Of course, the last 5 minutes of it are chopped off by YouTube. Damn you, YouTube. Even though they're supposed to give you 12 hours of a stream, they chopped off the last 5, which I think is actually the big finale of my Cthulhu role-playing game adventure. I don't know, pretty wild. Yeah, so anyway, thank you, Madman, for the donation. So, of course, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that little bell. It will not only notify you when this stream goes live, within about a minute or two, it'll also inform you when I have standalone videos uploaded as well, of which I finally got my After Effects working. So we shall see some standalone, I shouldn't say some, quite a few standalone videos popping up very soon. And Dan from No Enemies Here has popped into chat as well. So, of course, when you are not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I should say the newly redesigned website. I was going to say the newly redesigned thegaminggang.com, but that kind of just didn't sound right in my head coming out. And of course, be sure to tell a friend. In fact, tell 2 friends while you're at it. And tell them to tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. And maybe we'll all be washing our hair with Pantene by the end of creation. Who knows? All right, so pretty weird day today. Just a lot of stuff going on. Trying to tackle some things. Trying to get... there's still a few little tidbits of things on the new design that I'm working on. Mainly kind of cropping images so that they don't look weird. But when you've got over 9,000 articles and they've all got an image to them, at least one, kind of a pain. So I'm taking it slowly and surely, just like I'm doing some updates to the way the reviews look, which also take a little bit of time as well. So, and of course I've got over 620 reviews on the Gaming Gang. So just trying to pace myself through this. I'm not trying to do it all at once because then everything else will suffer. For an example like this show. Although it couldn't suffer much worse, right? So let's get on into the news, because I've got quite a bit of news. It is a Wednesday. I used to do a lot of unboxings, do some reviews for War Games on Wednesdays. I like to call it War Game Wednesdays. Now that I'm making sure those videos are separate, standalone videos, I haven't had a ton of wargaming news, but I've got some tonight. So first off, next month, Iello Games is going to release a follow-up to Devil Pig Games' very popular Heroes of Normandy. Yes, it's going to be Heroes of Stalingrad, and I've got the dope. October 1942. Whilst the German armies have put their boot down and established firm control at the Western Front, their counterparts on the Eastern Front are kept very busy in the USSR. Some of them will soon be trapped in one of the larger communist cities, Stalingrad. Heroes of Stalingrad is the new standalone wargame by Devil Pig Games. Make use of the dynamic and strategic hero system tactical scale and dive right into one of the most decisive battles of the Second World War. Play as your favorite hero alongside your friends, or I should say friendly troops, during 2-player games of 30 minutes or more. Perform heroic deeds of daring do as seen in many war movies. Whether or not you know about other games that use the same system, Heroes of Stalingrad is an ideal game to discover the Heroes system tactical scale. So I have to point out, I do not believe Devil Pig Games is an English language speaking company, because this is kind of messed up as far as the sell sheet info. I'm trying to almost fix the grammar and things as I'm reading this, which is not coming off too well. The area lies in ruins after heavy bombing by the Luftwaffe. Yet the Russians refuse to give up the city. Intense combat ensues for control of every room in so many buildings as they are taken, lost, retaken, time and again. The Germans call it the Rattenkrieg, the War of the Rats. Imagine charging infantry, exploding grenades, bursts of MG-34 and DP-28 machine guns, artillery and tanks releasing their deadly ordnance. At night, and during lulls in the battle, loudspeakers amplify the dreary propaganda messages as they relentlessly echo through the air in order to demoralize the enemy. For a brief period, nothing seems to stir in the omnipresent rubble. A sniper takes aim and fires a crisp single shot. One enemy less in Stalingrad. Heroes of Stalingrad is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 30 minutes or more, and it will carry an MSRP of $69.99 when it arrives on December 5th. So, Dan from No Enemies Here says that Devil Pig Games are French. Je parle français, oui, oui, is basically, I think, what Dan was saying there. Yeah. So, I have played Heroes of Stalingrad on PC. I did not actually have a chance to play the board game. I've enjoyed it. Here's one thing that kind of throws me a little bit, and I will just kind of swing back to me to mention this. When we have like World War II games, and there is currently one that's up on Kickstarter that looked kind of interesting that I am not sharing the news about because I cannot stand when these game companies kind of make the Nazis cartoonish, or any soldier, really. I mean, you could have a doughboy from World War I, and if you draw them like a cartoon, I'm kind of tuning out, because to me, I find that kind of disrespectful to those who served in the military, who fought and died, who basically gave up their lives to ensure our freedoms worldwide. Well, hopefully you're watching this in a country that you are free. But, so, Heroes of Stalingrad gets close to where I'd be going, this sniper game that's on Kickstarter, I was like, oh, absolutely not. There's no way. And it does look like it could be an interesting game, and I'm like, No, not when you have like the Nazi look like Bluto from Popeye. It's like, no. So Dan says, I understand, I feel the same way, but yes, I understand where Dan's probably going to come from is it's a good way to actually introduce war games to non-war gamers by including that kind of artwork. That's why Heroes of Normandy was such a big hit. I get that. You know. Oh, hey, so the Madman says the same thing. I don't know if it's called Sniper or not, but so here's the other thing that I think, and now this isn't a negative. See, so what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, don't get Heroes of Stalingrad because of the artwork. The artwork is not really cartoonish to that extent. But here's the thing that I think is funny, and I'm going to mention this before I bring this back up. So if you look in the upper right corner of this box, that character is obviously inspired by James Coburn from Cross of Iron. Here we go. Isn't it Steiner? Isn't his last name Steiner in the movie? It has been so long. I saw that movie as a little kid at a theater, and I probably was no older than about 8. It's part of a double feature. Yes, and I remember I was like, whoa, there's like boobs and stuff. Wow. All right. Anyway, there we go. It is Steiner, according to Dan. So, okay, yeah, maybe you don't consider this a true war game, but I got something else you might be interested in because there is a pretty cool looking card-driven war game. It's currently up for crowdfunding for newcomers Fort Circle Games. I've got the dope on Shores of Tripoli. Yes, as I always try to explain to my nephew that the Shores of Tripoli is not from World War II. It's from the first decade of the 19th century. Anyway, I've got the dope. When America was a young nation, our commercial vessels abroad were seen as easy prey for both pirates and hostile nations. Ships in the Mediterranean, for example, were subject to the whims of the Barbary States, which demanded payment for safe passage. In 1801, Thomas Jefferson decided to support our merchant ships by sending a squadron of observation. Did a lot of observing into the Mediterranean. At the same time, Tripolitania, yes, it's Tripolitania, led by the Bashaw of Tripoli, was trying to solidify power both on land and at sea. By the time the American squadron arrived, the Bashaw had ordered the flagpole cut down at the American consulate in Tripoli, a declaration of war. The United States and Tripolitania battled on sea and then on land until in 1805, Tripoli agreed to sign the Treaty of Peace and Amity, an American victory. The Shores of Tripoli tasks 1 or 2 players to recreate this swashbuckling episode from early American history. As the United States, you will pressure Tripolitania and her allies to allow free movement of American commerce or face the consequences. We'll allow with you. As the Bashaw of Tripoli, your aim is to continue the lucrative piracy of the fearsome corsairs, while also countering the American threat on land and sea. Each player has a deck of cards that represent historical events and leaders from the conflict, with a third deck for solitaire play. Players play cards to move ships, start battles, go on pirate raids, engage in diplomacy, and receive reinforcements. Success or failure in battle is determined by a roll of the dice. The American player wins by either forcing Tripolitania into signing the historical peace treaty or by capturing Tripoli itself and installing a pro-American ruler. The Tripolitan, I think it's Tripolitan. The Tripolitan player wins by either capturing 12 merchant vessels or sinking 4 American frigates. There is no Kickstarter video, unfortunately, sorry to say. But if you do go, check out the Kickstarter, which of course I'm showing the Fort Circle website. You can go to the Kickstarter from there, because obviously the Kickstarter link is far too long to actually fit on the screen here. You will be able to find, I believe it's about a 55-minute playthrough to check this out. Anyway, as I mentioned that you are looking at this being on Kickstarter right now, it is approximately, I'd say, I believe it's just under 200% funded. It is probably within, I don't know, one or more pledges. So, as I mentioned, it is for 1 or 2 players, ages 12 and up, plays in 45 to 60 minutes, and you can reserve a copy of the game for a $50 pledge through November 21st, and expected delivery is April of next year. And we have Kevin Bertram. I'm taking a guess, that's pronunciation. It could be Bertram, but usually when I see that, it's Bertram. I believe from Fort Circle Games in chat, because they're like, that's my kitchen table. So, yes, I was going to share some other images, but I was like, I think we'll only do one or 2 kitchen table shots. So, there we go. So, Kevin says I got the pronunciation right the first time around. So, here's some other items of note about this Kickstarter. So, for one, Jason Matthews, co-designer of Twilight Struggle, really talks the shores of Tripoli up, as does Alan Emmerich from Victory Point Games, or formerly Victory Point Games, because I swear I do not know what Alan's standing is anymore with Victory Point Games. But I will tell you, Alan Emmerich usually does not go out there and talk about other people's Kickstarters. So I have a weird feeling that back when Victory Point Games was cranking out the wargaming material, as opposed to now that it's under the Tabletop Tycoon umbrella, I'm going to guess that this was probably in the pipeline over at Victory Point Games. Might be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've taken a guess on something and I'm completely wrong. But I am taking a guess that it is very possible that this was actually going to be released by good old Victory Point Games back in their old... what's the word I'm looking for? Back in their classic days. Their good old days, I guess I'll say. Although I gotta admit, I have no issue with the folks over at Tabletop Tycoon. They're super nice to me. Anyway, moving right along. Next news piece. Another kind of wargame-ish title. Although this one is also a Kickstarter. It's ending tomorrow. I have some qualms about it, and I will discuss that in just a moment. But tomorrow marks the final day to back the Europa Universalis, the Price of Power board game from Aegir Games and Paradox Interactive. I've got the dough. Govern one of Europe's great nations through the ages of discovery, reformation, absolutism, and revolutions, spanning more than 300 years of history. Lift your nation out of the slumber of the Dark Ages and create a glorious empire through clever diplomacy, brave exploration, and ruthless conquest. Each of the playable nations have their own very unique opportunities and challenges. Europa Universalis is a strategy board game that gives players a full 4X game experience in a historical setting. Through strategic use of cards and careful management of resources, you can expand your realm on the map board while at the same time developing the internal machinery of the state on your player board. You must build diplomatic relations that support your ambition, and you can explore faraway parts of the world. By recruiting skilled advisors and carefully investing monarch power in great ideas, province development, and long-term strategies, you may well be able to outshine your historical counterparts. The game is for 2 to 6 players, depending on the various scenarios included. The goal of the game is to build the most successful empire, and points are scored for, amongst other things, owned provinces, explored territories, diplomatic relations, victories in wars, and secret objectives that have been accomplished. The board game is obviously based on the famous strategy game series by Paradox Interactive and captures the heart and soul of the grandness that makes the computer game so magnificent. Do want to point out, there is a Kickstarter video for this one. Runs a little over 2 minutes, so let's kick back and give it a watch.
price of power. I have sacrificed more than you will ever know. Do you really think you have what it takes to be in this position? Very well. Come with me, and I'll share with you what I have learned, son. First, you must hire clever and trustworthy advisors. What they tell you will cause anxiety and pain, but it will open your eyes to the reality that surrounds you, harsh as it is. They will save your skin on many occasions, but never tell them that. Govern your subjects firmly but justly. Lead by example to gain their respect, thereby securing the stability of your realm. Make sure you have friends in all corners of the known world. But watch them closely. Trust no one blindly. A network of spies is invaluable when you need to second-guess the next move of both friends and rivals. Whisper half-truths in their ears when they feel they can jump at your throat. Your disciplined army should be ready to take them by surprise and crush them swiftly. They won't see it coming until it's too late. Rule the seas, and trade will prosper. Make sure your ships come back with fine spices, silk and furs. Your people will remain loyal when the riches of the world flow into the marketplaces of your cities. If you can find the sea route to India and the Far East, or even richer lands still, you shall be a king among kings. Surely there is more to discover under the heavens than what is thus far known. But be aware, no ruler or advisor, no matter how well they prepare, can see the future. Diseases and revolts might spring from the most obscure causes. The mind of those not versed in science is fickle, and internal strife may arise while you are looking abroad. You still think you can do it? Very well, then.
Europa Universalis, the price of power, is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in more than 90 minutes. That's all it says, more than 90 minutes. The project is far, far, far beyond its funding goal, and you can reserve a copy of the base game for a $98 pledge, or the deluxe edition for a $153 pledge through tomorrow. Tomorrow is the final day. Expected delivery is September of next year. So I will address some things popping around in chat in just a minute. As far as this Kickstarter, and I'm gonna get in trouble, so get ready. Everybody get ready, because I'm sure somebody's going to take offense at what I have to say. I'm up in the air about this Kickstarter for a few different reasons. First off, the company that is doing the design work is pretty new. They've got a couple of games already, but nothing like this. Nothing anywhere close to being like this. One game is a little is like a family card game almost, and the other is a like a World War II game, but it looks very, very light. And this is a Norwegian company, and I'm not knocking the company at all. I'm not knocking them. I know nothing about them. It just seems like this could be something that will overwhelm a newer company as far as doing a Kickstarter for this. So I'm a little shaky on that. Other thing, Paradox Interactive. I love Paradox Interactive, but recently, over the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, they've just been like, yeah, anybody want to make a game based on our properties? Yeah, okay, we'll license it out. They've licensed out everything they do to umpteen different companies. So I don't think, and they're all going on right now. Some of them have already come out, like Crusader Kings 2, which is a glorious mess, I guess I will say. I've got a review of that coming up very shortly. I want to get one more playthrough because it's pretty broken, but it's just so bizarre. It's funny. It is entertaining. I don't know if it's entertaining in a way that it's supposed to be. So anyway, I don't feel that Paradox Interactive is really doing a lot of oversight on some of these games, although I will say, to this Kickstarter's credit, there are some kind of designer interviews and things like that, developer interviews from people who are involved in the actual digital games. So, like I said, I'm a little up in the air. Third item is the talking heads that have been deployed to ballyhoo this game are the shilliest folks out there. Not one person who does not take ducats to make videos. There are two kind of testimonial videos, and neither one of them comes from a source as a gamer, myself personally. And this is something else I'm going to get in trouble for, but you know what? I don't put my hand out to you guys to kickstart me, and this is my 10th year of covering this hobby, right? And you don't see me with all these Kickstarter videos going, oh, this is great, you gotta buy this. So yeah, it's sort of... But then again, it does look pretty interesting. And then on the flip side, you look at the cards, and it looks like they recycle art throughout all these different cards, and it's kind of like, for $100 game, you're not even gonna have like unique artwork on each card. The Shores of Tripoli is putting unique artwork on every card. So, I don't know. I wanted to share this because I love the computer game. I don't know. I just, there's something about this Kickstarter that I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with. So, just wanted to, share the news. I like to share the news, but then again, I also like to be honest with the folks watching. So, bring on those downvotes. I know those downvotes are coming. All right, moving right along. So anyway, so there was a little bit of discussion about Victory Point Games. I had heard some behind-the-scenes stuff, and then Alan Emmerich got really mad at me, and I really didn't say anything negative. Don't know. But yes, as far as Victory Point Games goes, I think really all they're going to be publishing, because I have connections with folks over at Tabletop Tycoon. But it's not like I'm on the phone with them and they're telling me what's going on, right? They're not shooting me emails saying, hey, Jeff, by the way, we're thinking about doing this. As far as Victory Point Games, they've got the Dawn of the Zeds, still does really well. Nemo's War, Darkest Night. I would think maybe we'll see them continue selling Chariots of Rome. I don't know. But I would think once the Victory Point Games stock is gone, it's kind of gone. And they'll only have like maybe those 3 or 4 games. But like Dan said, Zulu's on the Ramparts. That was actually the first Victory Point game that I reviewed on the Gaming Gang. And we're talking, that's like almost 10 years ago. So, Habsburg Eclipse, Ottoman Sunset. Some of the States of Siege games I really liked. Some were a little too light. But yeah, there were a lot of, like the hell Disaster on K2 or whatever, where you're like mountain climbing and stuff. There were some really, really good and interesting games. There were some great designs that were just sitting in like development limbo forever. Like The World Will Hold Its Breath. That was a big mega game that we were waiting for a long, long time. So Dan says, Jeff, you're one of a kind. The world needs more people like me. I don't know about that. Some people really dislike my style. You would not believe some of the comments that I delete off of videos. Because to me, it's like, hey, if you got constructive criticism or there's something I do that you're not real keen on, hey, that's fine. Comment away. But sometimes it's just like, no. Sorry, that is just absolutely not putting up with that kind of hatred on my videos where all we're talking about are board games and role-playing games and sometimes video games. It's like, get out of here. All right, so let's get back to the news. Anyway, but thank you, Dan. I much appreciate that. And I will have a video for you tomorrow for No Enemies Here on Saturday. So if you guys are not checking out No Enemies Here and you like war games, you are missing out. Every Saturday, Dan cracks wise. Kind of cracks wise in his voice like he does, talking about games, like gaming. Talking about war games mainly, right? But he's also kind enough to allow me to share like a little video of what's coming up on the Daily Dope, as well as the Gaming Gang videos as well. All right, let's jump back into the news because Dan doesn't have much time and we're almost done. Got 2 news pieces left. So I did mention the bundle of holding last week. We're gonna jump into RPGs because I love RPGs. And the Madman watched some of the Cthulhu adventure I did for the Extra Life Marathon, so hopefully he got a kick out of that. Anyway, but there's a Trail of Cthulhu bundle of holding going on. Talked about that last week. There's also a second one. It is with newer releases from Pelgrane Press. And I've got the dope. As I go to the wrong news piece. There we go, back to the right one. Beware new investigations. This new Cities of Cthulhu bundle presents recent ebook scenarios and supplements of urban horror for Trail of Cthulhu. Kevin Height's Trail is the best-selling tabletop role-playing game from Pelgrane Press about Cthulhu mythos investigations using the Gumshoe system. It's kind of presented strangely. It's like, well, it's the best-selling tabletop role-playing game that's about the Cthulhu mythos that uses the Gumshoe system for Pelgrane Press, when what they really do mean is it's Pelgrane Press's best-selling role-playing game. Anyway, so the system is also seen in Night's Black Agents, the Esoterrorists, and others. This bargain-priced ebook collection is a companion to the current Trail of Cthulhu bundle with the core rulebook and early supplements. If you're new to the game, you're going to want to start there. Then return to this one to extend your investigations into the nightmarish streets of Cthulhu City, the twisted dreamland surrealism of Dreamhounds of Paris, and much more. For just $14.95, you get all 4 titles in this offer's starter collection as PDF ebooks. These have a retail value of $54. Includes the 5-scenario collection Out of the Woods, the full-length standalone scenarios, The Long Con and the Many Deaths of Edward Bigsby, and all 13 treatises in Ken Height's Ken Writes About Stuff, Volume 1. I've met Ken. Ken is a Chicagoan, so had pizza with Ken and John Zinzer for AEG once, long time ago. All right, Dan's got to rock out. See you later, Dan. Catch you tomorrow, hopefully. Anyway, if you pay more than this offer's threshold price of $26.37, don't know where they come up with those. I think they just roll dice. They roll percentile dice and they go, okay, there we go. I got a 37, so it's $26.37. Anyway, if you pay more than that threshold price, you'll level up and get this offer's entire bonus collection with 4 more supplements and scenarios worth an additional $59.50. So, in essence, for anything more than $26.37, you'll get about $110 worth of PDFs, including Gareth Ryder Hanrahan's Cthulhu City, the 1930s surrealist campaign Dreamhounds of Paris, and its companion Dreamland's Diary, the Book of Ants, both by Gumshoe creator Robin D. Laws, and Ken Height's Tomb Hounds of Egypt. 10% of your payments, after payment gateway fees, will be donated to this offer's designated charity, Human Rights Watch. Do want to mention, you can score these savings through November 18th, and they are big savings, and I really like the fact that the Bundle of Holding and Pelgrane Press do have a separate bundle for the newer material that came out. And of course, when I say newer, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think the Long Con is the oldest of the bunch, and it's maybe 4 years old, maybe 3, so fairly recent. So very cool. I like Trail of Cthulhu. I like Call of Cthulhu better. I mean, it's just how I am. But Ken Hite does some excellent Lovecraftian work, so definitely worth picking up and enjoying some pretty cool adventures and supplements. So my final news piece. The hits just keep coming for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I've got the dope on Apocrypha Now. Taking a guess, that's how it's pronounced. Apocrypha Now is a compendium of long-lost writings that will enhance your Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay campaign like never before. In this PDF, you'll find optional rules covering areas as diverse as combat, psychology, and social class. New magical gear, well, it was new magical gear at that time, had greatly expanded rules for firearms in the Warhammer world. Warhammer rule? Jeez, I need a sip. Expanded rules for firearms in the Warhammer world. New scenarios, game settings, and campaign ideas. New career types, including the Dwarven Lore Master and the eagerly awaited Elven War Dancer. Full information on converting characters and equipment between Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and the popular Warhammer Fantasy Battle game. Much of this popular material has appeared previously in out-of-print Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay supplements and the pages of White Dwarf magazine. Now it's been gathered together for the first time in one information-packed, easy-to-reference volume. Read it with care. Your campaigns may never be the same again. Right now, you can score the 128-page PDF for $9.99 over at Drive-Thru RPG. Cool deal, cool beans, as I always like to say. Really like the fact that Cubicle 7 has not just sat back and just released a couple of things here and there for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Usually we've got something new every month. We've got new adventures. Of course, now we've got the Director's Edition, Director's Cut of The Enemy Within. So we got the first part of that out in PDF. So hopefully I'll have Sammy's review of that soon. Fingers crossed. I got to touch base with Sammy and email her because I've not seen a review from her in a while. And I know she was doing some graduate work, so maybe that's what's been keeping her. All right, so that is it for tonight's news. Do want to also point out that I did carry over the contest for the RuneQuest Role-Playing in Glorantha giveaway to next Tuesday. So, if you live in the US or Canada, all you got to do is be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, the Gaming Gang channel here, as well as be a follower on Twitter at the Gaming Gang, and simply comment on a video between now and November 11th. So I will announce the winner on November 12th and send that out. So pretty sweet. I just reviewed that not too long ago. Fantastic book. It is an awesome book. And I have an extra copy now because I got the really sweet slipcase from Chaosium. So I should have the review of the Bestiary for RuneQuest probably within the next week. Finally going to see some of the videos I've been shooting roll out because I finally got my After Effects working again so that the little intro pieces will work. So, Kevin says, nice work. Well, thank you, Kevin. I'm sure you probably invested way more work into the Shores of Tripoli. So, of course, we do reviews here at the Gaming Gang. Keep us in mind. Just tease it. Anyway, by all means, I will have an article for the Shores of Tripoli on the website tomorrow as well. Maybe later tonight. I've got a lot of news to catch up with because we had the Extra Life Marathon, the charity marathon on Saturday. So, all right, there we have it. That's it for tonight's show. So as I like to always point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Come on, by now you know the drill. get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do. Don't forget, ring that little bell, because not only will it notify you when the stream goes live Mondays through Fridays, usually Mondays through Fridays, unless there's a holiday, but it'll also tell you when I upload new standalone videos as well. So everyone who hung out in chat, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Kevin is pointing out that they are partners with Toys for Tots, and the game's going to be used in classrooms at the U.S. Naval Academy. Very cool. Kevin may have noticed this, may have caught this. I was talking about before I kind of got into the whole news piece about the shores of Tripoli. My nephew Cameron thought it was, fighting during the Second World War, and I'm like, no. What do you think? The halls of Montezuma is also from the Second World War? No. So, very interesting. The pirates of the Barbary Coast and Tripoli, and that very, very interesting. This should be a pretty cool game. So, all right. As I was saying, everybody who hung out, watched live, and chat, thank you so much. Always appreciate you keeping me company, so I'm not just talking into a camera that's going out into the ether of nothingness. But of course, if you watch this after the fact as well, I love you too. I appreciate everyone out there who stops by to give the show a watch. So I will be back tomorrow. So everybody enjoy the rest of your hump day. And until I see you next, happy trails. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of The Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.